Don't lose your way. In your mind, we have to be as one.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? Warstorm here coming at you guys with the winning deck profile from the Team APS Community Tournament. And I have the guy who piloted the deck, Michael. Say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody.
So you decided to play Mermails for the APS tournament. What motivated you to play Mermails outside of you making like the obvious, Monarch and Cosmo choices?
I got two reasons. The first reason, I did not know how any of the other meta decks worked. I knew how they all worked. I didn't know any of the combos, and I was not about to learn them. And because Mermails, it's so good. It really is.
Yeah, Mermails have always been like a favorite of mine just from playing a lot. I mean, the format I think I really kind of got a lot of my initial like Yu-Gi-Oh play in was like the 2014 format where like Mermails were running around. So it's definitely, I would say it's kind of in the more like tier 2 to roguish category, but it definitely is still a solid deck. So we'll go through the monster lineup first. We have the 1 lead, the 3 Megalos, the 3 TSs, the 3 Prince, the 2 Dragoons, the 2 marksmen, the 2 infantries, the 2 guns, the 1 diva, the 1 Turge, the 1 Moon Glacier, the 1 Gamma Seal, the 1 Lin, and the 3 Max Cs. The only thing that catches my eye is you actually opted to play Turge, and I believe I don't see any Pikes in the main deck. Why did you decide to play Turge over something like Pike?
I knew you were going to ask this, and I'm so prepared for this question. I hate Pike so much. The only thing Pike is going to search for you is gun, marksman, and what's that other one? Lin. I said gun, right? I said gun. And it's only, I don't ever actually want to search any of those 3 out the deck. Because if I normal summon this thing, because I might special summon it, but it probably won't happen that often.
Yeah, that's true.
But if I normal summon it, there's no point in me grabbing a Lind out of the deck, because that means the only time I'd actually do that, because I can't normal summon that Lind now. The only time I'd do that is if I have like a gunned Megalo in hand too, or if I already went through all my Abyss Spheres. I only played 1, but if I went through that 1, just making sure I don't draw it. That's the only time I'd ever bring that. Gun would probably be cool to bring out of the deck, add it to my hand, but Teus can do that too. And I'd rather see Teus so much more.
That makes sense. I've noticed that the Pike numbers since Prince came out have definitely been cutting, and obviously Diva is at 1, so being able to recycle her is really, really good for obvious reasons. The main deck Gamma Seal, I'm not going to talk too much about that. It should be obvious. Mermails having, as you've told me already, Monarch, and I know that this deck has a terrible matchup against, Cosmos, and Dark Law just poops on the deck, so you just have to main deck Gamma Seal, basically. Correct?
Dark Law.
Yeah, those cards just poop on your deck. And the 3 Max Cs, I saw this in the other deck list. I guess your thinking was all the decks are going to be special summoning a lot, and Max C's really good.
That was it, because game 1, if I win the dice roll, I go second, which I probably could have sided down. I just decided to main him because all the information was really open to people. So, if someone found out, hey, he's playing Mermails, they might want to say, well, I'm going to make you go first. And I'm like, that's terrible. But at least by the time we get to turn 3, because you're probably not going to OTK me unless you're playing Cubics. That's terrible.
Right.
But,
and overall,
more so, just by the time I get to turn 3, I've either made you have no field, or you just added a bunch of cards to my hand. Now I'm just about to destroy your field.
Is there any, and as far as the monster lineup, would you change anything in particular? Just looking back at it.
Yes, I would probably play 3 Dragoons, 3 Divas, maybe 5 Nexus.
If you could, but
no, I'd probably drop a Maxi, add the second Gamma Seal in, and for monsters, maybe a second Lin to go with like a second Sphere. Other than that, though, no, everything's pretty good.
All right, for the spell lineup, we have the 2 Instant Fusions, the 2 Moira Greeds, which is a card I haven't seen in a lot of Mermail lists. The 1 Upstart Goblin, the 1 Regeki, the 1 Surface, the 1 Soul Charge, the 1 Abyss Scale. It's the one that negates traps. It does the same thing as Mitsuki. 1/1 for 1/1, 2 Twin Twisters. Looking at the list, Moria Green seems like an interesting tech choice. Why did you opt for Moria Greed over, other cards you could be playing?
Because there's I would at least play it at 1 no matter what, just for the fact that it works so well with the deck. And it is a break even, kinda, but you gotta give a little value to that unbrickiness. Because chances are you're not about to draw 3 more bricks. It's not gonna happen with this deck because everything works together so well.
And
But
Surface was the one other attack I found. Why would you opt for Surface over something like Salvage? Because I know Salvage is usually pretty common in a lot of the Mermail lists I've seen.
Surface or not, Salvage is pretty good, but it doesn't let you really work around things like even though most people don't play it, Torrential Tribute's still a thing. Some people play every now and then. I actually almost played in this deck, and it probably would have did me pretty good. But Surface, it just lets you work around that. It lets you work around anything that negates Neptibus and destroys it, or destroys it.
Yeah, because Neptibus
Like,
sends for
yeah,
cost. So
AS
like if like they Railer it, the first Dragoons will still trigger. So it's not like it's like if they
But
pop.
just anything that would destroy it, I guess. I could just, bring it back. Or if in the Monarch matchup, if there's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and storm forth Aether you. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't want to play the game anyways.
So,
That's really the biggest reason, was just Monarchs. That's the only way they're going to win that game, is they can just shit on my Neptibus every turn.
yes, and then the traps are pretty. One Sphere and one Vanities. I'm guessing your theory with Vanities is like you set up, if you're forced to go first and you open Vanities, it typically can just win games depending on the monster you have on the field.
Like I said like 3 minutes ago, if someone found out what I was playing, or if for some reason because honestly, OTKs, I think that's just the funnest thing in the game. It's just being able to OTK your opponent. So I expected a lot of OTK, minded decks. So they're going to want to go second. No deck at all will ever OTK without at least one special summon. It's not going to happen.
That makes sense.
No, hold on. Exodia. Exodia is a thing. My bad.
Exodia is like the one other thing. Now looking at the extra deck, you have one Dweller, one Tatsunoko, one Leo, one Herald of the Arclight, one Chambara, one Armades, one Goyo Guardian, one Trishula, one Gaios, one Big Eye, one Norden, one Chimera Tech, one maybe it's number something or other Spider Shark, one Crimson Blader, one number something like that, yeah, and then a 1/101. So which of the obviously Mermails don't use their extra deck a lot, but which monsters did you go into the most, at least during the tournament?
Trishula was probably the one I went into about the third most, but Gaios and probably Dweller, and then Chambara and what's his name? Armades. They'd probably round it off.
But for the most part, like outside of maybe Norden, like you rarely used most of the extra deck during the tournament.
Dude, I saw like 2 instant fusions this whole tournament.
Yeah, so I'm curious about Big Eye though. Why did you opt for Big Eye over something like Flare Metal? Because there's some decks that just cannot, like, and Mermails are a great example of this. I've seen it and I've had it happen myself. Mermails cannot play around cannot play around a Flare Metal if you make it first turn.
It's more so the idea. Mermails are probably one of the only decks that can just get floodgated by one monster that can just say, hey, you're not playing the game. So the idea is if I can still somehow special summon 2 level 7s, get 2 level 7s out, and make a bigger, I'll just steal whatever you have and floodgate you out the game.
That makes sense. I guess
And a lot of times it honestly feels so good still in like an Ether or a Erebus and just beating over Karaz and saying, I'm gonna keep this. This is mine now.
So for the side, it seems like if it's anything like mine, it's kind of a little awkwardly thrown together. At least if mine was, you've got one of the spell Mizuki, I believe is its name. 2 Iron Walls, 2 Shattered Prison Mirrors, 2 Fog Kings, 1 Master Restrict, 1 Gamma Seal, 2 Cyber Dragon, Dre, 2 Dark Holes, and 2 Gores. So, I believe, which ones did you end up siding the most? Obviously, other than Shadow Imprisoning Mirror.
Gores.
Gores went in a lot.
So much. Yes, it really. A lot of times I didn't use it, but just because I don't play any floodgates other than like Vanity Zippiness, and nothing else is going to be on the field really, except maybe an Abyss Sphere. But if I activate Abyss Sphere, you're probably not going to get through this and hit me for 8,000 anyways. But Gores, it's just nice because you can just sit there like, go ahead and attack because I'll drop this Gores, and Gores will change this entire game.
Yeah, and the other thing about Gores is not only is it a level 7, but a lot of people forget it exists. So, like, they'll attack with their biggest monster, and you'll end up with, like, a 3k token or something stupid.
And then next turn, I'm going to crash right into it.
Exactly. Like, Gores has always been a card I've noticed that, like, kind of goes in and out of Mermail decks, but it's definitely something that really puts in work. I noticed that you opted for Fog King over, like, just running 3 Mask Restricts. Was that, like, just like tossing it together? What was your thinking behind that particular side deck ratio?
The sad thing is that was the thing. The Monarch matchup is the thing I planned out the most. I don't know why. I really didn't plan for Cosmos at all, other than obviously the Imperials and the Cyber Dragon Drays. But with the 2 Fog King, my thinking, it's water. It can get really big, and I can put out some tribute fodder for it without normal summon. But
Yeah,
looking back on it, I hate it so much. I should have just played 3 Restrict.
Yeah, Fog King is like only, to me, Fog King's only like really, really good outside of like a Pendulum deck where you have like a mass amount of tribute fodder and then you can just bring the stuff right back.
Yeah, I honestly hated it. I will never play that card again.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I've always preferred Restrict over Fog King, but like in a Pendulum deck, I can justify playing Fog King over something like Mask of Restrict.
That would probably work better there.
Yeah,
probably would.
But overall, for looking through the extra inside, was there anything you would probably change and make different for a new deck list if you were building it?
3 Restrict, no Fog Kings. I hate that card. I probably would take out the Shadow Imprisoning Mirror for 2. It's Imperial Order, I think it is. It's an Base All Trap.
Royal Decree.
Royal Decree. No.
Yeah, aside 3 of those. Card Demise sucks.
It really does. That's exactly why that Armades is in there. Armades is so good against Demise.
Yeah, personally, I'm side decking Triple Decree because I'm not like, I go back and forth between Decree and Denko Sekka, but like I've always like, depending on the deck, like if your deck can't really deal with floodgates that are already face up, I've always felt that Decree is the better card, but that's just me. For the extra, would you possibly maybe would you have changed anything else? Because obviously, like there's probably room for sure.
For the extra, maybe drop 101. I think I used them like once, maybe twice. Basically, every time I got an instant fusion, I went to him. Except like, I think once I went to Spider Shark. Spider Shark's good though. I would not take it out. It's just it was never really needed in most of the games. I'd bring out Spider Shark more when I know it's about to turn into a grind game, just because of the fact that when you kill it, I can bring back Norden, and Norden's going to bring back something else, and it just provides defense in the next turn. Or no, you can't next turn. No, it provides defense, and then sometimes I didn't do it in the tournament, but I don't like to do it, but if I have to do it, I'll just crash the Spider Shark. If I just can't, for some reason, get over what you have, I'll crash it, go into 101, and just steal whatever it is.
That makes sense, actually.
Other than that, probably not. That's probably everything. Chambara, though. Chambara is probably the best card in the extra deck.
Oh yeah, Chambara is like, someone who's been testing Speedroids for a while, Chambara is an amazing card. The fact that it attacks twice and it does like well over 4k of damage with both attacks is amazing. I mean,
and just the fact it gets the extra 200 before damage calc.
Yeah, it gets over it can get over like so many annoying things. But anyway, guys, as always, it comes to the end of the deck profile today. I always like enjoy you guys watch my videos on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you like what you saw in this video, please subscribe. Aura Storm, signing out.